happen. You know, I think I read before that it's like it takes an average like 7 times of rehab or something like that for someone to
Yeah.
like, you know, find for it to really stick. Can you talk about that a little bit and what advice you'd have for anybody right now who's maybe trying to get sober?
I mean, that is my third stint of rehab. You know, the first two did not stick at all. I knew I was going to use when I get out. You know, I just wasn't committed, but I was also younger. You know, you kind of you grow up a little bit, but this last time, I just kind of realized like, you know, I relapsed because my son, you know, had a surgery, and you know, I was afraid for all that. You have a child, and you don't know if he's going to live and stuff. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you know, that's why I relapsed, and then I just couldn't stop, even though he got better. And so once I wanted to get off the fentanyl so bad, and once I was able to have the opportunity to go to this rehab and stuff, I took advantage of it, even though I knew it was going to be hard. Uh, but I just made a choice in my head to be there and to say, like, when I was there, I have nothing against the people, and I'm not knocking it, nothing like that. Like, I just realized, like, this is not my life. This is not who I want to be or who I am. You know, a lot of these people, they come from prison, you know, straight out of prison, these programs, they're back in and out and stuff. And it's like, I don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to continue going down this path. You can make a choice. And I think for me, my saving grace is my son. You know, I woke up every day in the rehab and said, okay, why are you going to stay sober today? I'm going to stay sober for Storm. That's the reason why I'm going to do it. I'm going to continue to do it every single day, no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone thinks. All I have to do is stay sober for that little boy. And that's it. And
I used to go to a lot of AA meetings with my mom, and what they would always talk about there is, you know, the moment of clarity, where you have a moment where you either realize I'm going to die if I keep doing this, or you look in the mirror and you hate the person you've become. And it
yeah,
sounds like for you, it was maybe the second.
I think it was both. It was both to me. I mean, I realized that I I don't have any more relapses in me, dude. Like, if I relapse, I'm going to die.
Right.
No doubt about it. Like, I can't go back to using the same amount of drugs, especially with the drug I was using. Like, that was a big
You're
factor.
rolling the dice every time. It's Russian roulette.
Yeah. And especially now that I'm sober, my
Right.
tolerance goes all the way back to zero. So if I use, I'm out, you know? And so that was one that was a huge factor to me, was knowing like, hey, you don't got any more relapses in you. Like, this is it. You get clean and you go out and use again, you're done. Is that what you know? So that goes to my mind every time. And of course, you know, the second one is just realizing like, hey, like, this person that you have become is not the person that you wanted to be in life. It's not the person that loved me the most, you know, which is my grandmother. That's not the person she saw. And I had to just really, really, really reflect on that, man. And that's what just set me on the path to just, you know, I have to get it done. There's no turning back. I've come too far. For the first time in my life, I've actually committed, and I'm not turning back.
I remember hanging out with some people who were, you know, living what I would describe as a pretty nasty, gross lifestyle. And, you know, I was like, oh, I mean, I hang out with those guys, but I'm not one of them. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. But we do the same thing every day. We hang out at the same places. We have the same friends. Like, I am one of those guys. That doesn't feel good.
No.
So for anybody who's listening that's maybe, you know, struggling, and I think for a lot of people, there's that voice in the back of their head that's like, I know that I need to make a change, but there's something preventing me from pulling the trigger and making that change. What advice would you have for them? Like, what should they do today?
I think, you know, the biggest thing I can say is it's it's when it's when the pain becomes more than the pleasure. You know, when you are ready to hit that spot, and hopefully you are able to reach it without, you know, hurting anyone or damaging your life or, you know, dying. I hope that they get to that spot, because once you get to that spot, um, I hope that you're able to make a real decision for your life, uh, that that there is a way out of this, but it has to be when you are completely done. Like, the pain is just too much and you're ready, and when that is. A lot of people, they hit me up all the time, messaging me, I don't know how to do this, I can't get out of this. And a lot of them, they already have the answers.
Right.
They know what they need to do. I think that they are just scared. They're scared of withdrawals, or scared of getting clean because they don't know what's on the other side. Well, what's on the other side
It's better
is,
than what you're doing now.
it is, no matter what it is, it can't be any worse than, living in hotel rooms. Can't be any worse than damaging your body and being in the ER multiple times a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be any worse than sitting in the jail cell, you know, saying, "Hey, God, please just, get me out of here. Let me get bail. I promise, I'll get clean." And then you get out and use drugs. It can't be any worse than these feelings. I'm on the other side. I feel like I've made a complete 360 or 180 or whatever from what I was doing.
360,
Yeah,
180.
yeah, 180. So I got skateboarding in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made a complete 180 in what I'm doing, and it's weird. It's like, it's cheesy because everyone's always like, "Get clean. All you gotta do is get clean, and all these good things will happen to you." And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so tired of hearing that. And then I got clean, and all these good things started to happen to me, and I'm like, oh wow. But sometimes you're not ready to hear all that
It
shit.
takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, but it happens. It really does happen. If you get clean, only good things can happen. And if you stay that way, even if you're still dealing with some of these, situations, there's nothing but a way out of it. You'll be able to figure it out because you have clarity. You'll be able to make proper